Hey everyone, welcome to the new episode of the Retro Gamers Podcast, episode number 250. Larry here.
And Anthony here.
And we're here, 250. Congratulations.
Wow. Congratulations to you as well.
Yes.
This is monumental.
It is. 250
Well, I deserve an award. I just want to say that right off the bat. I've had to talk to you almost 250 times.
Problem?
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. As our friendship is now put in question for 250, that's it. We're done.
That's it. There'll be no more 250. There'll be no 251 now.
No, but we got some great stuff lined up here. Again, 250. We got some people who are going to be signing on. We got some special guests. A couple names was exchanged.
Maybe.
So,
and you know what? We may still have a couple of surprises too.
That's exactly. This is going to be wild. You know what we're going to be talking about tonight. In fact, is going to be yes.
You are very verbose.
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, not only are we going to talk about that, but we got some other stuff we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, there's a lot. Well, first off, there's a lot of news that happened over the past week. We're gonna share, just a few stories about our favorite moments from the show over the last 250 episodes. And again, it's not, if you were to tell me that we would be talking, video games for 250 episodes, I would have said you're crazy, because after the first one, I thought we were done.
But this is our love. And also, wait till I show you the thing I bought. This is,
of course you bought something.
It's, I might be in financial trouble, but no, all sales are final. But it's worth it. Just wait. Did
you sell the car?
I might have to.
Just sell like one row of pops behind you. That's all you need to do, and you're set.
Those are not being touched. But
Britney's free the pop.
What? How did I got?
4,
Let's get
3.
right into it. Here we go. Episode 250.
Oh, I think that did it.
Did it? Are we in?
I think we're in.
Got us in?
I got us in, but look at this.
Nice.
At least they're using high-quality SCART cables for their podcast, not Hyperkin cables. Really nice.
Well, this is what happens, then people can just hack into your signal and just take over your show.
That's what Zoom runs on, I guess. So what's going on, Rich?
Alrighty, so now we are the Retro Gamers Podcast. Coming at
Jack.
you from... that's Jack, or Jake. I thought your name was Jake.
Or Billy. Who knows anymore?
Who knows? And I'm Rich. So, third week in a row now. Granted, we're hacking into the system, so does that really count?
Listen, that's their fault for not locking up their cable system.
Exactly. All right. So today, I think we're talking about, going back and taking a look at our own list of overrated and underrated games. I think we'll start with the underrated first, because honestly, I feel like there's some really great games out there, Jack. That we can talk about that, it's like maybe people haven't given it a shot or whatever the case is. But in any case, I think that this would be a really great topic for you and I to discuss, because honestly, some of your opinions are very different from my opinions on some of these. So,
and they're very right.
Yours are so wrong. Mine are so wrong they're right. Let's just say that. All right, so
let's start with the NES, I guess.
Yeah, I was gonna say, where are we starting? Well, because we could start at a bunch of different spots. All right, dude. So what's yours? What's your one of yours for the NES?
For underrated, again, I just see this, but Legend of Zelda 2. Everyone didn't like it too much. I thought it was just an amazing game, and I fully enjoyed it as a kid. I sit there, I beat it. It was grueling, it was just hard, and it just crushed me, but I loved that game.
Wait, you beat it without save states?
Beat it without save states, original hardware as a kid, yep.
Like, how did you do that?
It was so much fun.
How did you get through the friggin' Death Mountain? That's my question.
Death Mountain was fun, I'm sure.
No, it's not.
Oh, what are you talking about? That game was awesome. See, this is the thing. Everyone didn't like that game.
Hold on. Give me a second here. I will tell you, when I was younger, I didn't like it. Recently, I replayed it and I beat it, and I got to tell you, it was way, way better than I remembered it being.
Huh.
You know, I got to say, like, I really, like, I think it's just, you know, it's one of those things I finally understood it, but it was such a departure from the first one that all of a sudden people were just like, what the hell is this? You know? So, I mean, that's, I remember for me, that was one of the big things for me. It was like, wait a minute, I've got lives and, like, what, no, what is this BS?
All right. What's one of yours?
So one of mine, you know, it's funny. I'm gonna go with you know, a game that I've played many, many a times, and I always go back to and play is Arkanoid.
Hmm.
But you know what's funny is, like, I got to tell you, I do miss, because I actually had back in the day. It came with a special controller.
The spinner. Yep.
Yeah, with the spinner, and I will tell you, it was way better with that. Other than, you know, the trying to use the regular Nintendo controller. But the one thing I gotta say though is this, man, is like, so did you play Arkanoid?
Well, not on the Nintendo.
Not on Nintendo?
On Atari's, yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know it's basically just a glorified Pong is really what it was, but like,
That was much
dude,
better.
oh my god, it was so, you get the little power ups.
Yep.
And you know, like, you get the little laser and you keep shooting up at the bricks and make them disappear. I remember, like, when I was a kid, man, I used to be able to get up to, like, level 20 something on my own. Granted, getting past level 3, where it was, like, nothing but gold bricks, and you had to get the ball into there, and it was, like, took forever to get into there, and God help you if that thing came out, you were not getting, like, you're not hitting it again.
Yeah, I think I played Arkanoid more on those Taito arcade systems, the whole consoles, the arcade systems, but yeah, never on the NES.
All right, give me one more. What's another one for you?
For me, I don't know if it's underrated, but Dragon Fighter. It's
What's
a
that one?
side-scrolling action game, but you can transform into a dragon. Tristan from Game On wanted to lend it to me, but I think he lent it to Larry first because I didn't know when I was going to get back there and give it back to him.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that sounds like a fun. It was a fun game. I played the ROM, but I want to play it on the actual hardware and the actual cartridge. But yeah,
No, not about that. You let Larry take it instead of you taking it?
you know what? The man can play.
What's wrong
The
with
man
you?
play.
What's wrong with you? That's all I'm saying to that. All right. For mine, I'm actually going to go with, I know, you know, it's one of those things that we haven't had one of these in a long time, and I really wish, I would love to actually see them kind of like give it another 8-bit or 16-bit treatment is, remember Off-Road?
I do.
I loved Off-Road.
That was a lot of fun.
That was a game I could sit down, dude, and I can play for hours upon hours. And I remember there was many a nights of you know, sleepovers, because I actually had the the 4-player. I forget, what was the 4-player called for on the NES?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
I have it over there somewhere, but yeah.
I had that, and I remember, like, the amount of hours that me and my buddies used to do, you know, like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, hopped up on Jolt, you know, playing that game. And dude, it was just so much fun, man. And like, just bragging rights, because I would always kick everybody's ass.
And the first time that you like show people that you can actually play 4-player on NES, they go crazy.
Yeah. All right, what's one of your overrated?
I don't have any overrated on mine.
Really?
Yeah.
So you don't think that, like, Mario 3 is overrated? Or
No, I definitely think that Mario 3 is not overrated, Rich.
Good, because I agree with you on that. I think that
Okay,
Mario 3 earns it.
Yeah.
No, mine, I'm going to tell you, I think for me, my overrated is Kid Icarus.
Why?
Honest to God, like, I don't think I ever got past 1-2.
So just difficulty?
Yeah. Like,
I love that game. That Kid Icarus was a lot of fun. I actually also have it on the little Famicom disc cartridge. I bought it. I liked it so much.
No, I mean, honestly, like, I've tried, I even used some codes to try to get into, like, some of those, like, you know, like, the maze, like, not the maze, but, like, remember how it's, like, you went into, like, the castle, like, it was, like, 1-4, 2-4, 3-4, and all those. And I remember for me, man, like, running around, even with that, like, I was just getting killed left and right. And even recently, I tried to redo it again, and I still suck at that game.
Huh. Okay, so difficulty level. But
Yeah, too difficult.
gameplay was fun. That was a good game.
Yeah.
I don't know. Agree to disagree on this one, Rich.
What, you fall down, like you make one wrong move or you get hit with something, boom, you're dead. You fall, boom, you're dead.
You know, with me liking Legend of Zelda 2, I think that's just my thing.
Yeah, you're a glutton for punishment. What can we
Glutton
say?
for punishment.
All right, moving on to now I hear that you call it SNES.
I do call it the SNES.
What is wrong with you?
Listen, it says SNES. You
Yes.
can either say those letters or you can just SNES it.
No, you say the letters. What type of I don't know, man. I
The
thought
way
I
of the
knew
world,
you.
Rich. It's the way of the world.
You know, I'm having a real crisis here with you calling it a SNES.
I fell into the right crowds at the right time. What can I tell you?
There you go. All right, start it off for us. What's your underrated?
My underrated pick will be Uniracers. Not many people liked it because the gameplay was kind of, you just have one little unicycle, and you're pretty much, it's just like a unicycling game with jumps, hazards, loops, and you're doing stunts while you're racing. So it had mixed reviews. Some people liked it, some people don't. The people that I play with didn't like it because they liked more car racing games where you can up your car and that at the same time. But no, for me, Uniracers was a solid pick.
I'm going to say this because you've got me. I don't remember if it was you. I think it was you who got me to play that.
Yeah.
Or Anthony, but
I still have the cartridge here somewhere.
and I'm going to say this. It's interesting. I think I would have preferred to have tried it when I was a kid. Because I don't think my hands, being as old as I am now, have the dexterity in them anymore to do half this stuff.
Listen, if I could do it with a carpal tunnel, you could do it.
I don't know, man. My carpal tunnel's pretty bad too. So
Yeah, the getting old club over here.
yeah, exactly. Listen,
right, what do you
the
got?
reason it's called Retro Gamers.
It is. We are older than the consoles.
Yeah, exactly. That hurts to say that. Oof. Well, going with things that are old, mine deals with a prehistoric guy, Chuck Rock.
Oh, that was a fun one.
That was a great one. Did you ever play it?
I did.
That was I used to love. I mean, dude, one of the bosses was a T-Rex with boxing gloves and hearts on his boxers.
Yep.
And
There was an arcade game that actually had it was T-Rexes and Cadillacs or something like that, or dinosaurs and
Oh.
Cadillacs.
I
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah,
Mhm.
I
It
think
was
it
in
was
the same-
dinosaurs and Cadillacs, if I remember
Yeah,
right.
yeah, maybe.
But no, I mean, one of the things I loved about it was very zany. I remember his moves when he was you were just moving around was to kill the baddies, you'd have to hit him with your stomach.
Yeah.
And then if you didn't move him for a while, he would wag his tongue at you or he'd scratch his behind and his whatever. And it was really kind of just fun, off kilter type game. I remember the first time I played it just being what is this? And it's a stupid side scrolling game, but just like I said, lots of fun. I enjoyed it.
Awesome.
All right, you got another?
I do, and this is going to be a controversial one. It's Mario is Missing. As a kid, I loved that game. Well, I guess I wasn't too much of a kid, but yeah.
So why is it controversial, Pick?
It was an edutainment game. So you're playing as Luigi to save Mario, but you're traveling around to cities, so you're portaling into cities where Koopas are doing things and they're stealing artifacts like Big Ben and all these things. But you're just going around talking to people and trying to see who and what and where. And then you get the artifacts back from the Koopas, and you have to go back to the info centers that correspond to that artifact, and you have to prove their authenticity by answering some questions. And it was just a fun game. I don't know. I really liked it.
Sounds like where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
It was like that.
Mario.
Yeah. And it came out for PC, I think, as well. And that was more like a point and click adventure, more like what are they called? The LucasArts ones. Man, it was just re-released.
Oh, Grim Fandango.
Like Green Fandango, but that kind of dialogue-y kind of getting information kind of feel. But yeah.
Yeah, no, that I never played it.
Yep.
Never
a lot
played
of fun.
it.
A lot of fun.
I'm going
Everyone
to
else
take your
hated
word
it.
on that
Yeah.
one. All right, moving on. For me, it was in one that, once again, and this game was hard as hell, but I really enjoyed it, was Alien 3.
Huh.
Because you know what it was? Like, I really loved, first of all, I love the Alien franchise. And I remember that was a game that I loved the weapons in it. Because you could get the flamethrower, you could have the pulse rifle, which, by the way, neither of which were in Alien 3, the movie.
Hmm.
But it's like you had to run around and you had to try to find like the people that were cocooned up and getting ready to have the face hugger attached to them. And I remember like it was difficult. Like I don't think I ever beat it, but I would keep going back to it. And I remember the sound in it was really good too. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and I would recommend to anybody go check that one out, especially if you're an Alien fan.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Overrated.
Yeah.
For my overrated pick, I'm doing Goof Troop for Super Nintendo.
Goof Troop.
Yeah. Everyone else loved it. So for those of listeners that don't, it's sort of like Zelda, Legend of Zelda without weapons. Legend of Zelda 1. You're going around solving puzzles, but it was only 5 levels, and it was really geared for 2 people. So when it was 2 players, it was a lot of fun. But since I was playing it mostly single player, it wasn't as great. Everyone else raved about it. It had rave reviews, but nope.
Not for Jack.
For single player, I just didn't like the game. When my cousin came over and we played it together, that was fun, but
on your own?
On your own, no. Not a game.
Yeah. So so question. Do I piss off Anthony with mine, or do I piss off a whole bunch of fanboys?
I don't think you can go wrong.
I know. Which one? Pick one.
Let's do Anthony, I guess.
All right. Zombies ate my neighbors.
Oh, yeah. He bought the re-release at
I know. See, this is what happens when we take over, their podcast. Like we poo all over their favorite games and what have you. So I know Anthony got me to, whenever we get together, he's always like, "Oh, come on, we're gonna play this," and I kind of gotta say, I don't understand the hype in it. I found it to be very repetitive, very boring. It's not one of my favorites out there.
He is coming to find you.
He probably is. I'm probably not going to be invited back on the show again, or at least for a couple of weeks.
If they find your buddy.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah. But no, honestly, I don't know, man. Once again, I played it only for the first time, probably about 5 or 6 years ago. So rewind, I don't know, like, do I get that nostalgia because of playing it as a teenager, when it first came out? Or is it just because of the fact here I am, being an old, bitter man at this point and just going like, these kids and these zombies and
All right, Gramps. Well, what do you have for Genesis?
What do we got for Genesis? All right, so going underrated.
Underrated, yeah.
Underrated. I'm going... Do you remember the Mutant League series?
Yeah. No.
Mutant League Football and Mutant League Hockey?
Yes. Okay, yep.
Okay, so I was big... You know this. I was big into the EA games back in the day. The NHL series, the Madden series. Like, I mean, I used to sit down and I would play them for hours on end. And then all of a sudden this game gets released, Mutant League Football, and I check it out, and I am I can't play the game because I'm laughing so hard. Like, you can bribe the referee, and he throws penalties for like flicking boogers and like things like that. You could set up traps on the field, and like you can blow up your team. I don't think I actually ever got to an end of a game and actually won by like the time running out. I think I always, either myself or the person or the computer I was playing against had to forfeit because they wound up losing too many players on their teams. And then it's, just take that insanity and put it to hockey. And then you got the Mutant League Hockey. And it's just pure pandemonium. So much fun.
That's actually pretty funny. That's a good pick.
What about you?
The second pick would be for me Fantastic Dizzy.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, so it also got mixed reviews when it came out, but it's pretty much you're this egg Indiana Jones kind of guy that it's a puzzle platformer, so it's not just like an action platformer. You're trying to find items like keys to solve puzzles and get out of places, and it's just a lot of fun.
Huh.
Yeah, I think you'd enjoy that one.
Was that early, mid, or late Genesis?
I have no clue.
What good are you, man?
I have no clue if I'm early, mid, or late at any moment in time.
I think you're late.
Which is funny because we were going to grab a list of, since it's the 250th episodes, of 250th releases for all these systems. But it turns out, and I asked on one of the forums, on a couple forums, but one of the guys at the Retro RGB forum, I think it was Brad, came and he said release dates were not really a thing or really well recorded until like Sonic 2 era. So we decided to go a different route.
Maybe not paying so much attention to that.
Yeah.
All right. So going with the Genesis, did you have any other ones for underrated?
Mm-mm.
No?
I do have an overrated.
Do have an overrated. Let's hear the overrated.
Devil Crash.
Really?
Yeah. So everyone loved it. It was like this. It was a pretty solid pinball game, but it just wasn't as fun for me. I don't know. I don't remember why. I just remember not liking it as much as I did other pinball games.
You were an NES pinball game guy, weren't you?
NES pinball. I think I still have NES pinball somewhere.
So, dude, when Trish and I, obviously, we got married, and so she actually had a sealed copy of pinball. Actually, didn't I give it to you?
Oh yeah, that is your pinball. I do have your pinball game.
That's right.
That's awesome.
So yeah, no, it wasn't sealed, but it was still like mint in box though.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there you go. At least it's found a good home.
I still play that game.
The game was terrible. I hated that game.
What? Okay. Underrated NES pick for me.
There you go. Overrated. I'm about to piss you off.
Uh-oh.
Oh yeah, Golden Axe.
You're not. I actually didn't like Golden Axe.
Really?
Yep.
I don't know, man. Like Golden Axe, I found it to just be so repetitive, and it was just like the controls are wonky as all hell.
Yep.
And it kept going and going and going and going, and I was like, oh dear God.
Yep. I did not like Golden Axe one bit.
Nope. And then the other one I'm going to throw in here, throwing in a bonus one for this. I'm also going to say another, but Altered Beast, man.
All right, there I don't agree with you, but I see why. I don't agree with you because it was just ridiculous, and I love that about it.
Power up.
It's just so ridiculous, and I love that.
Dude, that game, all right. So, I mean, like, first of all, it's the side scrolling, and like just they throw everything at you. It is so friggin' hard, and then you become so ridiculously OP that you just basically clear the flow with everything.
As it should be.
And it was just like, once again, repetitive, just over and over and over again, the same freaking thing. And the only thing was like you were just waiting to get to the end, and it's like, all right, what crazy thing were they gonna throw at you at the end? It's like, oh, here's this multi-eyed monster that's suddenly like, ha. But at least like you were the dragon and you had like your electricity as the dragon. Oh man,
all right.
No.
That one I see where you're coming from, but disagree. Not a strong disagree, but it's a light one.
No, both of those. And by the way, also just a little disclaimer, I was trying to go with like for my overrated and underrated rather, I was trying to steer away from games that were like, like the Mega Mans, the Marios, the and game like the Contras, the Metroids, like things like that. I was trying to think of games where I was like, oh my god, this was a game that I really was like, wow. Overrated. Yeah, all gloves were off. At least that was my opinion anyway. All right, Jack, what system we going to next?
I don't have anything for Saturn, unless you do.
I own the Saturn, but I'm going to say this. The whole freaking Saturn system was underrated.
Yeah, I would. That you know what, we can list that as an underrated console. That was a great system. Minus what was that? Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider was a terrible game on the Saturn.
Oh my god, that was my first experience with Tomb Raider though.
Same. And then I played on the PlayStation. It was just some night and day.
Yep, I actually wound up playing it on that, and then it was because I remembered it was like funny, like you like especially remember walking into the Coliseum, and you would just see like this blank black void off in the distance, and then you would walk forward, and just everything would pop up all at once, and you were like, what the hell? And then when I finally played it on the PS, and you're like walking in and everything is just kind of blipping in as you go, I was like, oh my god, what a freaking difference on this.
Yeah, Saturn was one of my favorite consoles. I'd say that.
Yep. No, I mean, I had the choice between that or the PlayStation when I was buying it, and I chose the Saturn.
Yep, same.
I would have gone, now knowing what I know now, I would have gone different. I would have gone with the PlayStation, but hey.
I would not have changed. I got a PlayStation also, but I love my Saturn.
All right, where are we going to next, dude?
All right, well, let's skip ahead a little and do the Dreamcast if you want.
Dreamcast. All right. Tell you what, let me start it off this time. So, Dreamcast, first of all, underrated system. You and I have had this conversation so many times. It was the little system that was amazing, just got no love.
Yep.
You know, and I know we're not the only ones to think that. I'm sure there's other people listening to us right now that if they
tons of phenomenal games. Yep.
But honestly, to me, the game I remember, I liked anime at the time, and I walked into I think it was it was either GameStop or Software Etc. Electronics Boutique, whatever it was back in the day. And I go walking in, and there's this CD on the shelf, and it says Sword of the Berserk. And dude had this sword that was like massive. It was huge. I think it was like $10. And I was like, all right, you know what? Let me give this a shot. I pick it up. There's no like explanation to story. They literally just throw you right into this. And then, you know, you're this, like I said, you're this big dude, and you are just decimating people with your freaking sword. Just like hacking, it's nothing but a hack and slash.
Yeah,
is really all it is. And then eventually they stick you into smaller corridors, so you can't really fully swing your sword. But years later, it was funny. I started dating Trish, and she introduced me to Berserk, the anime.
The anime, yep.
And halfway through, all of a sudden, I stop her, and I was like, "Wait a second." And she was like, "What?" I'm like, "No." And she's like, "What?" And I'm like. I wound up going home that night, and I was like, oh my god, it totally was. And all of a sudden I realized, yeah, it was. Sword of the Berserk is the continuation of the Berserk anime. So all of a sudden it's like the game made total sense to me.
Wait, let's talk a little bit about that OP-ness of this. So what were you saying about Altered Beast?
All right, listen.
What was that again?
When you're this dude who's got this massive sword, you know, I mean, like, I'm sure there's some phallic reference in here.
We had to fight to become an Altered Beast.
No, but listen, in this game, you're automatically a badass. You know, I mean, like, come on. It's like Cobra Kai, you know, you just gotta be badass. Like, I don't want to work for it, just make me badass. You know, that's what I'm saying.
Fair enough.
So, yeah, all right, so what's yours?
So my underrated pick is because I was not allowed to play House of the Dead.
Really?
So I was not. So
you're even hiding it, like, you know, mom's not home and
nope. So what I did I forgot what game store we were in, but they had a keyboard there for the Dreamcast, and it was like a little combo, and they had a deal where you buy the combo and it came with Typing of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
So Typing of the Dead was a ported game from like the Sega Naomi like arcade systems, and it's pretty much House of the Dead, but you're typing words instead of like shooting at the zombies. So if you successfully type the word in time, and it gets progressively harder and harder and harder, but that was a fun
There's no
game.
progressive. That game, I've played that game. It is brutal right out of the gate.
I love that game. I still have my Saturn keyboard back there somewhere, yeah. But that was my pick.
That's your pick. All right, got anything for overrated?
Overrated? I want to say Space Channel 5, but I liked that game.
Chew.
Go.
Oh
I
god.
wouldn't rate it as high as critics did, but so that's where the overrated would come in. But I
That
love that
game,
game.
I seriously wonder what the hell people are on when they came up with that one.
Yeah, I think I was more addicted to the randomness of it, sort of like Katamari Damacy, than I was actual gameplay. So that's why I would maybe throw it into the overrated. But
And then there was the time where I came by you and we were trying to play it, and I don't even think we could get past like the first half.
no, we did. We got pretty far up. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was one. That was I don't know, man. I could not get into it as much as you guys, and some of our other friends. You know, it's like I remember, we had our one mutual friend who was like really really into it. But yeah, me no. I tried it. Not for me.
Well, pew pew pew, Rich. Let's move on.
All right. So for me, I think the one I'm gonna go with was everybody was like, dude, you got a Dreamcast? I'm like, yeah, you gotta get Shenmue. And I was like, oh my god, what is this Shenmue? And they're like, oh my god, you gotta get it. It's amazing. So I go and I buy this game, Shenmue, and I pop it into my Dreamcast, and I'm falling asleep while playing it. I thought it was so freaking boring. I was like, what the hell, man?
Yeah, I remember you're not a fan of Shenmue.
No. I mean, I heard from what my understanding is, the further you get into it, the game becomes good.
Sure.
Like, I was like, I don't want to have to spend like 6 hours, 7 hours getting into a game for it to get good. I mean, like, I know that's what Hideo Kojima is going for with Death Stranding, but like, nobody wants to be climbing ladders and delivering packages for like the first 10, 15 hours of a game.
Fair enough.
I'm just saying. I know that's not retro gaming. I apologize for that, but still. No, and the other one I was going to even say is, and I think this is more kind of like, I'm going to throw a second game into there, is the Sonic Adventures. But you know what it is for me? And it's the same thing going with, and this is going to be something that I'm going to talk about again, probably on another system, but like Sonic 2 is a side-scrolling game. To me, like, Sonic 4, when I came by, Sonic Mania, playing that with you, Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles, those, to me, are Sonic. And trying to make that transition into the 3D felt so awkward to me. And I just could not get into it. Like, I know it's loved, and I know people think it's, like, an amazing, amazing game, but give me the side-scrollers.
I thought you just didn't like Sonic, so I was going to suggest Ristar for you, but yeah, no.
No, dude, I love Sonic. I mean, I used to play Sonic 2, like, dear God, I mean,
Yeah.
all the friggin' time.
I actually liked Ristar a little better because Sonic was just more focused on speed and Ristar was more focused on exploration and, like, using your arms and, like, kind of wits and slowing things down a little bit. But yeah, I mean, you can't beat Sonic games.
So long as they're 2D.
Yep.
All right. So are we moving on to the N64?
Sure. I only have one game for N64.
What you got?
So Tetrasphere. It was
Tetris.
pretty much Tetris, where you're trying to fit things into this 3D puzzle, kind of like you're trying to drop them down and fit them so they like line up 3 at a time. That
Isn't that like one
was
of
a
the most
super fun
hated
game.
games on the N64?
Wait, is it? I don't know. Everyone I talked to hated it, so that was an underrated game.
It's like Superman 64, like Tetrasphere.
Let's see.
I've never played it. I've seen people doing videos of it,
Oh
and
yeah,
what have you.
it was hard.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's Tetris. It's a sphere. It's 3-dimensional.
You know what? I'll do it because it has mixed reviews, so I'll say
That's
that's
your
my
choice.
underrated pick. Yep.
Fair enough. You know what was mine? I don't know if it's underrated so much, but I never hear, like, whenever you hear people talk about the N64, I never hear them talk about Jet Force Gemini.
Never played it.
Really?
Yep.
Oh my god, it was so much fun. I mean, like, we were talking about this on the show, when we were talking about the N64, how it was so much like it was like a multiplayer system. And for me, it was always like, it would be me and, some of my buddies, we would get together, we would do split screen. There's only so much GoldenEye you could play, only so much Perfect Dark you could play. And then Jet Force Gemini came out, And all I remember was one of the characters was a dog, and he had like this hovering ability to do to his like was one of his abilities, and just the hilarity of some of the things that we would end up doing in that game. Actually don't think I ever played the single player of that game. I only ever played the multiplayer of it, and it was just, you know, it's like it's a fun little kind of like cartoony different like if you like I said if you've had enough of playing Perfect Dark and GoldenEye, it's just kind of like hilarity. There was one point I remember, like one of my friends was perched up on top of like these, and it's N64, so everything was blocks. So like kind of like all these blocks that were piled up, and he was up there, and he had homing missiles that he was just firing at us. So what I started doing was I was able to sneak around, get up underneath at the bottom of the mountain, I'm going to call it, and I just kept on like going up, and then there was one point he stopped firing. So once again, going with the idea of the dog, I jump up and I'm hovering right in front of him, and he just looks and he's like, "Oh shoot!" And I just fired a missile at him, killed him right dead. And he was like, "Did you have to wait?" And I was like, "Oh man, you had to know who was killing you, dude." So it was fun. Like I said, that was a good one. I enjoyed that. All right. Do we have anything else next?
Let's see.
Oh, N64. Hold on. I didn't talk about my overrated.
Oh yeah.
So my overrated, but I'm gonna connect it right back to what I was just saying with Sonic, and this is my problem with it is, I'm not a big 3D Mario fan. To me, once again, give me new Super Mario Brothers, Super Mario 3, World 2, like all of those, love those. But the minute you give me 3D, like Mario 64, I've tried playing it when I was younger, couldn't get into it. Tried playing it recently, still can't get into it. And it's that 3D. I mean, Odyssey was something totally different.
I was about
Odyssey
to say,
was
you
awesome.
liked Odyssey.
I did. But that's it. But that had the 2D element in it.
Nope. This is where I have to come in and look you straight in the eyes and say you are wrong. Mario 64 was an amazing game. The controls, yeah, sometimes were a little bit wonky and hard to get used to because the camera angles were there. But once you got used to everything and you started progressing through the levels, it was just such a well thought out game.
You know what could have been too? A damn N64 controller.
Ooh, yeah. There's that meme where it shows like the evolution of the PlayStation controller is just why change what's working. The Xbox is like, well, let's just tweak it a little bit, and the Nintendo's like, Wii party.
Basically, dude.
All the controllers from N64 on were just going crazy. We had the square the square controller, then you had the Super Nintendo, then you had the N64 three-legged one, then somehow we got into these crazy like Wiimotes. Wii U
GameCube,
and
which was
Switch.
kind of had like the weird little nipple
Oh,
button.
the GameCube, yeah, yep.
Yeah, no, and then basically then you get to the Wii U, and it's like we're just gonna put an entire screen on the controller.
It's like, meh.
Why not, right?
Well, first thing into handhelds, so that was fun.
Yeah.
I actually think the Wii U, and we're going to underrated, was one of the most underrated consoles.
Really?
Yeah, it had phenomenal games. I think it just failed because people didn't get it.
Hmm.
They just thought it was going to be and it kind of was an upgraded Wii, but it just had amazing games on it.
Well, one of my favorites still, and I know this is, Nintendo Land.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
So much fun with Nintendo Land. I mean, playing Luigi's Mansion, where it's like one person's the ghost and everybody else is Luigi trying to capture him.
Mhm.
Oh, I love that.
You're gonna laugh, but I bought another Wii U just in case this one like ever hits
Really?
the fan. Yeah.
So you're hoarding now.
Oh, I'm hoarding Wii U's. Yeah, well, two of them, but yeah.
See, Jack, and this is why the rest of us can't have nice things because you're hoarding all of the Wii U's.
Hoarding all two of the Wii U's in the world.
Well, I'd be curious to know how many Wii U's actually were in production.
No clue.
Yeah.
But it just didn't do well because people didn't get it.
Yeah.
They did poorly on like trying to explain it to people and like, but it was great. And a lot of people didn't like that giant controller that you had to play with.
Well, the other thing I think too is it's like, at that point you had I think if I remember right, that was during the PS3 and Xbox 360, which graphically were far superior.
Yeah.
So it's like, why am I going to go look at this thing that's like far inferior? And I mean, like, but the thing is, it's like Nintendo is just very inventive with its games. It's like, yeah, well, we don't care what they look like. We're just going to come up with zany stuff that you're going to have fun with.
Yeah, and you know what? That's where I'm at nowadays. Is where I, going back to the, are we going with PS4 or Switch? I find the Switch much more entertaining, just personally, and the PS4 is just not as entertaining as the Switch for me.
I'm gonna agree to disagree with you on that one. I told you, man, I love my PS4, but here's the thing.
Me too.
Although, hold on a second. Does this count as a retro gaming? Because now the PS5 is out.
I think the PS4 and all these others count as retro gaming because the only things we use them for are the Genesis games.
Yeah. Well, dude, the first thing I did when I got my 360, what did I play on it? Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Yeah.
It's like I had two games. I had Gears of War, the first one, and Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which I wound up playing more Castlevania Symphony of the Night than I did Gears of War.
We never learn.
No.
We just buy new things to play old things on.
Exactly.
But going on the whole track of underrated hardware, for the Genesis and the Super Nintendo, or the SNES as everyone calls it, there's this modem that came out. Everyone.
Freak.
Literally everybody.
Freak.
The X-Band. The X-Band was the first like multiplayer dial-up competitive gaming platform. So you would pretty much plug it into your console first and then plug your cart into the X-Band. And it only supported it supported a couple good games. And what you can do is you can play over dial-up with people. There were ranking systems. There was a messaging system called Xmail that you can like send messages back and forth to each other too.
56K though?
You had to play on a dial-up modem. And not only that, but like the first challenge was, well, if we're playing, if you're playing people around the world or even in a zip code, you remember long distance calling at the time?
Oh.
So that would kill you. So the X-Band company would actually eat those costs. I forgot what the corporate like actual telephony entity that did that was, but so the first thing that people did was to hack it and exploit it to do free long distance calling over it. So this company would be eating people's long distance calls. And since it was a ranking system, so you'd see wins and losses, people would pull their cords out to simulate a disconnect before they lost. And so that was the biggest things that one of people, like everyone, and they patched that later on, and then people started complaining about different things. But I think that was one of the most underrated, most awesome things that came out during that era, was just this dial-up networking where they were able to then send controls back and forth over 56K, over modems or like whatever it was. It was probably 56K, but it was just like an amazing feat where they would in-memory patch these games to be played over a modem, over long distance, over a telephone. It's just, that blew my mind when I was a kid.
No, I never even heard of this. So
yeah, I actually got one off of eBay now. I just want the unit to see it.
So does Larry need to buy one?
Yeah, we can play, Larry. Long distance call me, Larry.
And then he's gonna get all pissed off, and he's gonna either sell it or get rid of it or whatever.
Just throw it in the trash. Yep.
Yeah, throw it in the trash. Why does he do that?
That's why we're on.
Yeah, basically. So going back to the idea of hardware, one of the things I was thinking about was the idea of the controllers, right? It's like we've played on so many different controllers. Like you said, going from the nunchuck from the Wii to the standard Nintendo controller and the PS4 controller and so on and such forth. So going through all the different systems that you can think of, which one was your favorite controller?
There's two at the top. There's the Super NES one, or the SNES as everyone calls it, as we know.
No, they don't, jerk.
And
They're
the Sega Saturn Model 2 controller.
Which one was the Model 2? Was that the
It was
one
a smaller one.
and it was like more curved, I think, right?
Yeah, the first one was just kind of like this chunky mess. But the second one, I think it was the Japanese one specifically, was a little bit just more elegant and it just felt amazing in the hand.
Mm. For me, I'm going to go with two. The first one was I'm going old school. I'm going with the NES Max.
Ah,
I loved that controller. I actually liked it more than the Advantage. You know how like everybody wanted the Advantage as a
Yeah.
kid?
yep.
I didn't. I loved having the Max because I loved the little dot, like the red dial thingy that you could use to move your characters. And then of course you had the little turbo buttons. And then the last thing was it was small, like you said.
Yep.
So it was like nice little fit for your hand.
I hated that controller.
Why?
I really hated that controller.
You were an Advantage guy, weren't you?
Yeah.
Do you have an Advantage?
Well, no, you were gonna get me one from that place near you.
Well, that was the SNES one too.
Oh, that was the Super Nintendo one. Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that,
Yeah.
or didn't remember that.
No, that was the SNES one. That's why I was like, oh my god. But no, so that was the first one. And the second one is, I'm going to say, my favorite hands down controller, I'm just going to call it the PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 controller. Once they added the analog sticks, it was like, all right, you got this.
Dual shock up, or
What?
are you going dual shock up? You need the vibration motors
Oh,
in
totally.
there? Or...
Yeah, you need the dual shock, man.
Okay.
So going back, like, from that, and then, I mean, obviously the PS3, it really, the only thing at that point is you're going wireless. But going with that, no, I think that really were my two favorites because I really, once again, the feel of it in my hands was it really had a great feel to it. So, and then in comparison to like the Xbox, which was like, you needed to rest it down on the table because it's just the weight of it.
I actually liked that controller. It was really huge and clunky, but it felt good in my hand. I liked that one.
You could also hit the person next to you and knock them out when they kept on winning in Halo.
Oh yeah. It only happened once.
Once.
You survived.
Many a times. You kidding me? I remember blowing you guys up with the freaking rocket launcher.
Yeah, those are fun times.
Do you have one controller that you didn't like?
Oh. The NES Max. But
Right
the
now.
original Nintendo controller.
Really? Why?
The boxiness would just dig into my skin.
Mm,
And then the buttons were concave?
yes.
I think.
Convex. Yeah.
Yeah. So mod that you do nowadays is you replace them with the GBA, the original Nintendo Game Boy controller ones, which are convex. And they feel a lot better. It's like night and day. I replaced all my NES controllers with that.
With that. Man,
Yeah.
why not, right?
Yeah, but still the boxiness kind of hurts, but those buttons were the ones that killed you.
Mm-hmm. No, for me, I'm going to go with, ironically, as much as I said this was my favorite, I'm going to say that the PS4 controller I cannot stand. You and I have had this conversation many a times, how it's
Yeah.
like, it just, it's...
Battery life.
Do you remember that old commercial with the guy driving the sports car? He pulls into a gas station and he's got like his 1970s suit, Disco Inferno is playing, and he's like filling up his car, and then he gets into this, some like really pretty woman comes driving up. He he winks at her, blows some kisses, gets in the car, turns the ignition on, revs the engine twice, and you see literally the gas meter go to half and then empty again. That's how I feel like the freaking PS4's battery life on their controllers is. It's like you unplug it and immediately it's like boom, down half, and then boom, down again.
Yeah, that's the first console that I bought a charging station for, because it's just so painful just to keep trying to recharge that and keep that battery up.
Yeah, I constantly have one plugged in with a USB.
Yep.
All right, man. So I think I don't know. Should we allow them to come back? And
Oh yeah, they should be finishing up soon. So you know what? We should just plug them back in before they notice.
yeah,
Well, Rich, it was good talking to you.
yeah.
and we'll
Maybe
see
we
you soon.
should hijack their signal again sometime soon.
Oh, definitely. No Hyperkin, remember.
No Hyperkin. There we go.
All right, Rich, let's plug them back.
All right.
I honestly don't know how you're going to top that purchase. I really don't. So I think right now I can safely say you shouldn't ever buy anything again.
I don't think I can anymore. With that being said, let's bring it into port. Ant, where can they find us?
You guys can find us at facebook.com/Retro Gamers Podcast, on Instagram at Retro Gamers Podcast, on Twitter at Retro Gamers Pod. You can watch us on IGTV and YouTube, and you can listen to us wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you want to email us, email at theretrogamers.com.
Yes. All right. And again, episode 250. All joking aside, it's honestly been a blast. I know we joked in the beginning. At least I hope it's joking. But, I love doing this with you. Yeah, honestly. I love doing this with you. Thank God we have this passion of video gaming. I mean, we would still be talking regardless, but at least we get to do this. I get to do it with one of my best friends. So
yeah, no, and again, all joking aside, I'm always very grateful for us and the fact that we do this every week, and it's a way for us to connect, to be nostalgic about our past and where growing up and everything like that. But and just to focus on something we love, like you said. So thank you for 250 episodes. I'm looking forward to the next 250, and we'll see where we go.
Yeah, absolutely. And folks, we will catch you right here next week on the Retro Gamers Podcast.